I'm Jane from Boogie Nights, and I thought I'd share with you my first-hand experience of dismasting and share some tips of which tools might be handy to have ready if you face the same situation, find yourself dismasted. Obviously mine's straightforward dismasting where it fell over sideways. Everybody's different, but I found these tools invaluable. I had them ready to hand and I'd pre-practiced with them. So I was just going to go through with each one and its function and how you might use it. So here we've got my bag of tools, and in this bag of tools I'll talk you through each one, and then we've also got the cable cutters. Now, just to be clear, I didn't have all these tools in the bag at the time. Probably should have had them collated, but anyway, we have 2 knives. Depending on how many crew, ideally everybody should be carrying a good quality sailing knife. This is absolutely invaluable, especially a good quality serrated blade that will cut through any of the lines, warps with ease. Both of these have got shackle keys, but actually the shackle keys aren't particularly useful in that situation. They may be in yours, but in mine not so much. These vice grips are invaluable though. The smaller version, they're adjustable with the height, so that the jaws can be adjusted, and these give you a lot better grip from a remote aspect. So if everything's around the shackle where you can't really get a flat access to it, this you can pinch in and start to undo them. These may or may not be useful to some people, the mole grips to hold on to things. If things are moving around dramatically, then these could be a really useful handhold to help you hold on to certain parts of the rigging, especially if it's starting to fray, get a bit dangerous, at risk of cutting you. The side snips are an absolute must. Get yourself a really good pair of side snips, know how to use them, know what kind of cable you can cut easily, and have a little practice with those if it's not something that you normally use. These are just basic Halford's brand, but I know that they're good. I know I can cut quite good cable with these, and these are the cables that I had to cut through. So we had some of the main power cables, power leads that had to be cut through. They're not tiny, but I managed to get through this in just 2 snips. The other things that would be useful, small screwdriver. So if you can't get the vice grips onto a shackle, then you might be able to get the screwdriver through the hole to be able to start moving it. It's also useful for any other items. So a small flathead screwdriver, which doesn't really matter, a small rod to be able to push through something is really useful. Bit of tape. Now, if it's gaffer tape, doesn't really matter. If it's PVC tape, whatever it is, you need to seal up the ends of these lines as quickly as possible, especially if you've not had a chance to run off and switch the electric off. You need to make sure that you're not going to blow a fuse or a main fuse on your switchboard before you've got a chance to then think about anything else. So cutting the cables, sealing them off from the salt water and the spray, from any other metal fittings is really important as well. And then we get to the cable cutters. These are not bolt croppers. A lot of people talk about bolt croppers, and indeed I'm lazy sometimes and call them bolt croppers. They're not. They're actually cable cutters, and you can see that if I turn them over with the notch. There's a notch just out of them here, and when I open them up I'll demonstrate in a moment how they're geared and how to cut through some cable. I've got a piece of my rigging laying over the deck as it was at the time, and I'll demonstrate how easy it is to cut cable with the right technique. Okay, so then we move on to the cable cutters. These bad boys are not that easy to use, but they are if you've had a practice. So to open the jaws, you've got to have the handles really on their maximum apart. It's quite a wide aperture. If you look at my arm span, it is quite a machine to use, but with the gearing and the way it closes up, relatively speaking, it should be theoretically quite easy. So let's have a look and I'll try and do this on camera. Bear in mind that originally the rigging was held in place by the tension it was under with the fallen rig, so I just need to position it first. It was much easier actually at the time because it was held in place. So get that nicely into the jaw, and let's see, can I just do it this way? No. The way, my technique is to put one end on the deck, the other end I need to pull really hard and push. I think my blades need sharpening after all this effort. Oh, that bit went flying. Sorry, Marina. As you can see, they're a bugger to do, bugger to use. It's not easy if you haven't practiced. It's not easy even if you have practiced. So make sure you have a practice on some old rigging. I've got a few spare bits if anybody wants them, and have a go at cutting through it. It really, the adrenaline at the time made it easier for me. Now in the cold light of day it's a bit harder, but find your technique, find your way to cut through it, because your boat might depend on you being able to do it quickly.